The mandate in Taiwan is out. Much to China's opposition, the island has chosen Lai Ching-Te as the president-elect. Beijing, however, has warned Taipei that reunification with Taiwan is inevitable. Taiwan, in response, has asked China to face reality. Taiwan's response comes in the wake of China denouncing the results of the election. China's Taiwan Affairs Office has slammed the outcomes of the elections, stating that Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party does not represent mainstream public opinion.
我们解决台湾问题，完成国家统一的立场一以贯之，意志坚若磐石。我们将坚持体现一个中国原则的“9·2”共识，坚决反对台独分裂行径和外部势力干涉，与台湾有关政党、团体和各界人士一道，促进两岸交流合作，深化两岸。
While leaving the White House for Camp David, the presidential lodge in Maryland on Saturday, U.S. President Joe Biden stated that the U.S. does not support Taiwanese independence. Biden's statement comes in the wake of previous comments wherein the American president vowed to safeguard the island's de facto independence from China. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken congratulated Taiwan's president-elect Lai Ching-Te and hailed the democratic system and electoral procedure of the self-ruled island. The European Union has also welcomed the results of Taiwan's presidential elections. Lai Ching-Te addressed the supporters after his two opponents conceded defeat. He thanked the Taiwanese people for writing a new chapter in their democracy, vowing to defend the self-ruled island from Chinese intimidation.
Through our actions, the Taiwanese people have successfully resisted efforts from external forces to influence this election. We trust that only the people of Taiwan have the right to choose their president.
Lai, who has been serving as the vice president, delivered an unprecedented third consecutive term for the DPP after his campaign, in which he pitched himself as the defender of Taiwan's democratic way of life. Lai has won 40% of the vote through Taiwan's first-past-the-post system, unlike outgoing President Tsai Ing-wen, who was re-elected by landslide victory 4 years ago with over 50% of the vote share. Now, this may hinder Lai and the DPP in passing legislations this term.
We are telling the international community that between democracy and authoritarianism, we will stand on the side of democracy. Taiwan will continue to walk side by side with democracies from around the world.
We're now being joined live by VOA correspondent Elizabeth Lee from Taipei. Hi, Elizabeth. Now, Taiwan has chosen independence-leading contestant Lai Ching-Te, but China remains defiant. It says unification remains inevitable. How is this assertion being viewed in Taiwan?
It depends on who you ask. At the KMT camp, the supporters, of course, were disappointed that their candidate, Hou Yu-ih, did not win the election. And many of the people we spoke to say they are fearful, that they're afraid that China will become more aggressive, and ultimately they're afraid that there will be war. But on the other side, at the TPP rally, celebrating the big win, they say it's nothing new. China has been threatening Taiwan for years, and so this is just another threat. They hope that this is going to be business as usual. The reason, one of the big reasons why they say they voted for Lai Ching-Te is because they like current President Tsai Ing-wen's approach to the international community. Her foreign affairs is about making allies, putting Taiwan on the world stage. And that way, in case something happens, in case China decides to be more aggressive, that hopefully these allies will come to Taiwan's aid.
Right. Elizabeth, you speak of why the Taiwanese voted for Lai Ching-Te. Just to follow up on that, what does Lai Ching-Te's victory mean for Taiwan, and how is it being seen in the Asia-Pacific region?
Yeah, so President-elect Lai spoke to the media yesterday, and he said he really wants to open dialogue with China. He wants more cooperation instead of confrontation. And so he's trying to reach out, at least that's what he says, to Beijing. And it's really, the ball is in Beijing's court to see how it will respond to these efforts. And as far as the Asia-Pacific region, of course, congratulations are coming in from Japan to Singapore. And they're all pretty much saying the same message, which is really encouraging both sides, Taiwan and China, to work out peace and stability in the region, because the Taiwan Strait is a very important area for commerce, for world commerce. And so they hope that things get worked out. And most people would like to keep the status quo. They're also looking at the U.S. As you mentioned earlier, President Biden says the U.S. is not for independence. So the rest of the world, including Asia-Pacific region, will, in the coming days, weeks, and months, look to the U.S. response as well as China and Taiwan to see how this triangular relationship will kind of grow and move forward into the next 4 years of the new presidency.
Right, Elizabeth, you speak of how messages of congratulations have come in from all across the world, including the U.S. And like you mentioned, that Biden clearly said that he does not support Taiwan's independence. How is that being viewed in Taiwan?
Well, that's an interesting and tricky question. While some people, again, those DPP supporters really like the fact that the current president and hope that the new president will continue a strong relationship and form strong bonds with the U.S. Because U.S. has helped Taiwan with military weapons and such. But there is a large segment of the population that doesn't really are a little skeptical whether the U.S. will come to Taiwan's aid in case China does attack. So some of them wanted to prepare themselves just in case, saying that only the Taiwanese can protect themselves on the island. Others are saying if, in fact, China really attacks, unless the U.S. or its allies come to Taiwan's aid, then it's kind of a lost cause, just because by sheer numbers, China is so much greater and more powerful than Taiwan.
Thanks, Elizabeth, for joining us here on WION, sharing insights with us on the story. And for more details on the story, TVBS correspondent Vivian Xiao brings you this report. Take a look.
Taiwan has swiftly returned to its everyday pace, with residents lining up at a well-known Taipei breakfast shop this morning. The view contrasts with the excitement of the crowds following President-elect Lai Ching-Te and Xiaobi Kim's victory for the Democratic Progressive Party (DPP) a few hours ago. Reacting promptly, the Taiwan Affairs Office (TAO) of China challenged Lai's victory, claiming the election results don't represent the broader public opinion in Taiwan. The TAO statement highlighted President-elect Lai Ching-Te's receiving of less than half the total vote share and his party losing its parliamentary majority. They also maintained their firm stance on the 1992 consensus and opposition to any Taiwanese independence initiatives. During the campaign, Lai Ching-Te denounced Chinese interference in Taiwan's elections, arguing that the 1992 consensus equals the one country, two systems framework. Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense reported the detection of 4 PLA Navy vessels around Taiwan over the past 24 hours, while a balloon detected 75 nautical miles west of Keelung City. Taiwan remains on high alert post-election. Meanwhile, the U.S. and Japan congratulated the DPP on its victory. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken extended his congratulations to Lai, while President Joe Biden maintained a more cautious tone, emphasizing non-support for Taiwanese independence. House Speaker Mike Johnson warmly congratulated Lai, announcing a U.S. House delegation's visit for the May 20th inauguration. Japan's Foreign Minister Yoko Kamikawa echoed similar sentiments. The international community's attention is now keenly centered on President-elect Lai Ching-Te's strategies for navigating cross-strait relations, bolstering U.S. ties, and rejuvenating the economy. However, clarity on how he intends to achieve his goals will likely emerge only after his inauguration. This is Vivian Xiao for TVBS World Taiwan.